QB for all of 13 seasons he was in Green Bay. And yesterday, Rodgers said he enjoys being coached, but the Packers say he won't be involved in the coaching search. Packers CEO Mark Murphy said, quote, Aaron is free to provide input, but he won't be part of the process. Joined once again by D'Angelo Hall. But first, Shannon, should your guy, Aaron Rodgers, be involved?
No, and I think Mark Murphy summed it up. Is Aaron Rodgers going to be allowed to put a list together and says, okay, these are some of the guys. But I think once the Packers brass narrow it down, they'll ask Aaron, okay, Aaron, what do you think about these guys? Is this someone that you can feel comfortable working with? Because at the end of the day, you want the coach and the quarterback, especially because the quarterback carries so much weight, you want them to have a great working relationship. And I think at the end, Skip, Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers, the working relationship, it kind of deteriorated a little bit. Yep. And you can see by Rodgers' body language, you can see by his play on the field. So do I think that he's going to, as they're putting this thing together, okay, who would we like to interview? I don't believe they're taking input from Aaron Rodgers in this situation. But once they get it narrowed down to, say, maybe 2, 3 coaches, they will go to Aaron and ask him, okay, Aaron, what do you think about this? And I think that's the way it should be. And for the most part, top quarterbacks have always had input, especially when it got down to the nitty-gritty of coach selections. But as far as the process of putting a list together, no, I don't think Aaron Rodgers will be involved, nor do I think he should be involved.
I think he should. I mean, you know, when you have a guy of Aaron Rodgers' stature and his perceived, I guess, ability to work with guys, I kind of feel like, you know, the whole thing with him and Mike McCarthy is they just didn't agree, almost like a marriage. They were together for so long. And, you know, at a certain point, you know, Aaron wanted to do things one way. Mike McCarthy felt like it was best for his team to do things another way. I think for the next guy who comes in there, Aaron Rodgers and that guy have to be on the same page. For them to exist, the worst thing they could do is hire a great coach or a coach they feel is great, but Aaron doesn't get along with or doesn't agree philosophy, scheme-wise what they're doing. And so I think, you know, Aaron's at the point in his career where, you know, he needs to be able to have a guy that he can confide in or who's like-minded in philosophy. Because if not, you potentially have the same problem you have now, and that's an uninspired Aaron Rodgers going out to play football.
What I saw Sunday.
Well, the thing is, what concerns me, Skip, if I get someone you like, but what about the team? How does he coach the team? You need a coach.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, when you start trying to get one person to fit one person's needs, now the special teams, now the defense, they go unfulfilled. Now, I would lean towards getting a defensive-minded head coach and find me a hot-shot offensive coordinator to try to pair with that situation. Maybe you can get a Cliff Kingsbury, or maybe you can lure someone like that. Skip.
He would be great.
But I would get me a defensive-minded head coach, because at the end of the day, you got to get someone to oversee everything, not just Coach Aaron Rodgers.
Are you going to let that hot shot call the plays?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to start with this fact. They just last August gave Aaron Rodgers $100 million guaranteed. They are paying him $33.5 million a year. And this year alone, he got $67 million in total with his bonus.
By March 15th.
Okay. Okay, but still, $67 million.
That's going to be done deal.
Okay, so they have committed their next, let's say, 4 years to Aaron Rodgers.
Correct.
This man tells me he's the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time, and he is transcendent as a quarterback.
Yes.
Well, if that's all correct, if that's all true, and I believe that Aaron Rodgers got Mike McCarthy removed from that job, and I do believe it. I think we all believe it. In the end, that's what happened. Then he should be able to suggest the next head coach, and he certainly should be able to sign off on the next head coach. And I don't agree with your defensive-minded. I think the head coach needs to be in lockstep with the quarterback. They need to become best buddies. They need to be 1 and 1A in all the decisions.
Yeah, he does, Skip, but you have to coach the team. You got to be careful now putting all your eggs in, like, okay, then what happens? The guy Aaron and the coach have a falling out. Then what?
Oh, exactly.
Because that's what happened. For whatever reason, Aaron and Mike McCarthy, they wanted to part ways. And it affected the team, Skip. You look at the way the defense played. You look at the way the special teams played. So you can just look at Aaron. Okay, you say Aaron Rodgers hadn't played well. And maybe he hasn't. 21-1 says otherwise. I mean, there are a lot of quarterbacks that would like to have 21 touchdowns, 1 interception. But
28th in completion percentage says another story. Go ahead. Go ahead. Well, it does.
But what? So
that's just awful.
Tom Brady is doing all these check downs, but he has fewer touchdowns and more interceptions.
Tom Brady is 9-3. Aaron Rodgers is 4-7-1.
Did you see?
4-7-1.
But I thought that
what? He's transcendent.
Is he's 9-3 or the Patriots 9-3?
I think he's mostly 9-3.
Oh, you see what he did there, Dion? You see what he did? When things go good, it's all Tom Brady. But when they lose, well, who got those 3 losses? Coach Belichick got the 3 losses. Tom Brady 9-0.
Coach Belichick got torched by Blake Bortles.
You see
by Matt Stafford. Am I right? And by Marcus Mariota.
Okay, what did Tom Brady
I'll show you torch numbers.
What did Tom Brady do?
Didn't have a very good game.
You mean to tell me Tom didn't have a good game?
Well, mainly because they got time of possession like crazy. They didn't get the football.
It don't matter what you do. Yeah. See, you count time. I just make time count. So you want 42 hours and do absolutely nothing, or do you need 5 hours to get everything done? See, that's what
I thought we were talking about the GOAT. Or is it lowercase G-O-A-T, as in you're the reason, you're the blame?
Skip, I think everybody knew. Once he lost that game, once Mike McCarthy was the head coach, and he lost to Arizona, who plays in the desert, in a dome, come there, and look at those elements. There's no way the Arizona Cardinals are supposed to get out of there with a win.
Especially with a rookie quarterback who grew up in Beverly Hills.
Man, I don't care. Look, I don't care if they got a 10-year vet. You play in a dome, and there's no change of season.
Okay.
You can't go to the frozen tundra and beat that team with that lead quarterback. You're not supposed to, Skip.
All right. I'm just telling you, it's Aaron Rodgers' show. It's his team. I'm going to cater to him. I want him to sign off on this, if not suggest.
Skip. We're gonna put the list together.
It's a we.
Okay, this is what we do.
You're part of the brain trust.
Okay, this is what we do. This is what we do, Skip. Okay, I'm gonna put together a list.
But what if the guy's on that list, Shannon, he doesn't like any of them?
That is correct.
Then what do you do?
Yep.
Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna add one more to the list.
He strikes me as hard to please.
Exactly. I'm gonna add one more to the list. Skip, it's like when you set a list. You set a list of the music you like to hear. You go to a wedding or something.
Sure.
You know, obviously, you set the list. Now, you can let people that's going to be there, okay, what type of music you like? But I'm going to make the final say. I might have a song or two that D. Hall want to hear. Might have a song or two Jenny want to hear. But at the end of the day, I'm paying for this. I'm paying for this.
So I'm going to throw this out one more time. I don't know for sure why Urban Meyer, quote unquote, retired from The Ohio State University. Was it 50% medical? Was it 80% medical? Or did it have something to do with the way he mishandled and misrepresented what he knew about the Zach Smith situation? But if he is still capable of coaching, and he's never coached in pro football,
I knew he was
you gotta, if I'm Green Bay, you gotta take a shot at this, because he is simply the greatest offensive mind, I think, in the history of college football. In the history of college, show me somebody better. The history of college. Urban Meyer
style of offense.
Look at what he did everywhere he went. They just dominated. Bowling Green in Utah and Florida and Ohio State.
Style of offense.
Okay,
but didn't develop not one player. Tim Tebow, my little cousin Percy Harvin went down to Florida.
Yeah, I think he did okay.
He did okay, but he got to the league and could not really run routes. He could not. He wasn't developed as a receiver.
Harvin?
He was.
He
developed as just an explosive player.
He was just an
explosive player.
And that was the thing, Skip. And the thing is that when you look at it, and you can say, well, maybe it was the Zach Smith situation. Urban Meyer is going to lose more games in 2 years in the NFL than he did his whole career as a college coach.
Well, who's he coaching? Aaron Rodgers?
I don't care.
Yeah.
They're not going undefeated. You lose in the NFL. And see, here's the thing.
Well, who's to say you would?
Skip.
If he wants
Jimmy Johnson didn't immediately lose. I mean, he did the first year, but then he just went bam, and it turned right around.
He lost the second year, too.
Not really.
It was the third year that he started winning, 91.
Okay.
Yeah, you remember.
But he was pretty good in 90.
But here's the thing about NFL fans. See, college fans, very seldom do they boo, especially at Ohio State. NFL fans, you in Green Bay, they booed the Packers at the half. The likelihood of Ohio State fans booing Urban Meyer in Ohio State, not happening. At Florida, not happening.
Well, I don't know.
I do
think he
think
and Aaron would click.
it may click.
You don't think so?
Scheme-wise,
just scheme-wise. Overrated?
Scheme-wise, man. Yes, he's overrated.
Look at these numbers.
Urban got some of the best players in the country, man. Yeah, part of that is because he's a heck of a recruiter.
Look what
in college football, you know. But do you know what the equalizer is in college football? Is recruiting. Skip, it doesn't matter. If I have 5 stars up and down my roster, of course I'm going to beat these guys with
And
3
obviously,
stars
you
and
can
2
recruit
stars.
at Florida, and you can recruit at Ohio
Absolutely.
State. Okay, but you got to be able to coach it.
Yeah,
He only took,
you got to be able to coach
He took
it.
Michigan to the woodshed 7 straight times.
I'm glad you said that about coaching. Because who got the best college coach that ever done on the sideline?
Maybe it's Urban Meyer.
Just
I
stop.
don't
Let
know.
me see that you go, Skip.
Hey, man.
Why we have white?
What does Nick Saban
It's
know
your
about
birthday.
offense?
He know
What
about
does he know?
defense.
Defense.
He know about that stank.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
The defense has given up 40
He
pretty
knows
regularly?
if you don't score, you can't win.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's his formula.
Urban Meyer knows offense. The same Urban Meyer that scored 20 points against Purdue.
What happened
Was
the
that
last
Urban
time?
Meyer?
That
What
was,
happened the
but
last
there were a
time
lot
Coach
of
Saban played Oklahoma in a bowl game? Do you remember that?
I can't remember the last
Sugar
time.
Bowl? Do you remember that?
When was the
They
last?
gave up 40.
When was the last? When was the
Trevor
last?
Knight?
When was the last?
Trevor
time-
Knight
When was
scored
the last-
40 on you?
When was
What
the
is
la-
that about?
When was the last time Urban Meyer been in the Alabama Invitational?
I remember one year when he had this kid named Ezekiel Elliott. Do you remember what he did
pretty
to
special
Coach
year.
Saban? And Zeke went for 230 against St. Nick's
Have
defense,
they- have they
and it
been-
was a blowout.
Have they been back in the playoffs since then?
Okay.
Have they been
No,
mentioned?
we're going to move on for now. But you guys could
Is
stay
that
on
they
this
renamed
all
it the
day.
Alabama Invitational?
Yeah.
D'Angelo, thank you for being here.
problem.
Did Steph Curry take a shot at Trae Young yesterday? It's not very common he does that. We'll discuss next.
I am an Instagram boyfriend, but now that rolled chicken tacos are back at Taco Bell,
Sunset Heart Hands.
my hands are tied.